So, for my self assessment for the intersectionality for the first part, the example of intersectionality that I'm using in my life is that I grew up in a town that had a lot of different cultures in it. My hometown is made up of majority white people and Hispanics. It's about half and half if you look at the total population. I feel that this helped me not have as much of a culture shock when I came to Indiana State because I feel that a lot of people who come from very secluded towns, the culture shock at Indiana State is very big. And so, like, when I got here, it was really no big deal to me at all to see all of these different cultures because I'm so used to it. My mom's best friend is Hispanic, and when I was growing up, she would always bring us over like traditional meals, and we would eat those frequently as well. I have grew up with Hispanic friends, and we're still friends today. And any type of bias that I could have ever had, I don't even know what I would think poorly of them. Only the only thing bias I know was what other people have said, but I know that not to be true. I am very educated on their culture and appreciate it. My whole hometown would be different if those identities were different or gone. We have multiple Mexican restaurants and multiple Hispanics who own many of the construction companies and car dealerships in Frankfurt. Their culture is heavily appreciated in my hometown. For the chosen topic section, the topic that we discussed in class that stuck with me the most was when we talked about the feminism movement. I say this because as a woman, if it was not for those women who stood up for us, there's a possibility that I could not do what I am able to do now. Vote, wear what I want, play sports, go to school, to have a nice job, have a job, period, and so on. When discussing feminism and what I learned, was about the different waves. I had no idea that there were multiple waves. I had no idea they were even looked at as waves, and I had no idea that feminism started in the 1800s. I thought it started in the 1900s. And so obviously it sucks that I'm not educated on feminism at all because I am a woman. But when talking about how the topic could be complicated is when discussing what more can women do. And a lot of men, especially, use backhanded comments like, well, you guys want equal treatment, we'll give it to you, when speaking about domestic violence or women working at a not very high paying men's job. Women who are in male dominant jobs tend to be harassed for trying to do a man's job. There was recently a video on Facebook of a woman. She owns her own construction company, and obviously that's huge. That's a 100% male dominant career, and to have your own construction company as a woman and be successful is huge. But her comment sections are just full of degrading comments from men, just saying like, you don't know what you're doing, stuff like that. As women, we try every day to get equal treatment and get high up in this world, but a lot of times things are very backhanded towards us. For the applied concept section, the article that I chose is an article about a famous YouTuber named David Dobrik. David makes YouTube videos. He's a multimillionaire, has multiple million subscribers on YouTube. Basically what he does is he records his friends doing stupid things, like skits is what he calls them. So that's what he's made his living off of, is doing stupid skits with his friends. But in the past month or so, him and his friends have been accused of sexual assault and being witnesses of sexual assault and not intervening and reporting it. One key word we learned about when talking about sexual violence was consent. One of the women that really brought this to everyone's attention, she was claiming that she was assaulted while she was too drunk and she was not sober enough to give consent to doing any type of sexual activity with anyone. Another part of it is she came over earlier in the day and she was sober and she's underage. She was then given alcohol by these older men. They're all in their late 20s. And she was given alcohol by the men until she was very inebriated. She might have said when she first got there that she had the intention to do things with this guy named Dom, but at the end of the day, she did not give us consent right there, which is what we also talked about in the lecture video when it mentions that prior consent is not consent. David does not edit these videos, so the videos went to multiple people before it got published. Multiple people saw that she came out of the room with Dom very, very drunk, and they still posted it on social media. I just think, and so no one intervened. ultimately no one intervened. And I just think it's very important that people learn that, yes, you need to step in when this thing happens, which was another thing we talked about in that week, was bystander intervention. And I'm just hoping that since this is happening to someone with such a big platform, that a lot more awareness will be brought to stepping in. And then lastly, my plan for action. The problem that I want to help improve is from the week we talked about sexual health. Sexual health is a very hush-hush topic, I feel, and it 100% should not be. A lot of people do not know how to talk about it or do not have the money to actually get checked out like they should, and I feel like a lot of people are not educated on sexual health like they should be. I think it would be so nice if Planned Parenthood had more sponsors and money to get women the help they need, and men. So many people in America look at Planned Parenthood as a place where it's abortions immediately. No, like, that place shouldn't be open, which I think is horrible. So I feel like that takes away a lot of their funding and sponsorships. So many women and men advocate for Planned Parenthood, trying to prove that it is so much more than just abortions. I think also one thing I would want to do is participate in something that is advocating for abortion and why any woman should be able to get an abortion when she wants to, why abortion should not be looked at as a negative thing. And